It's part of it's the hottest actually, but
keep a secret.
Yeah, we're gonna out ourselves.
Exactly.
They can't Google Carlito. Well,
so for those who don't know, we are in the pregame right now. For those watching, and at promptly at 8:00 we're gonna start the show. But I figured we want to show you guys some love and jump on the stream. We wanted to jump on earlier, but we did the best we can. So we'll wait for people to come in. Somebody, actions speak louder than words is already up in here. What's up, guys? What's up? Action speaks louder. Much love to you. Much love.
Live on the Twitch.
I wanted to continue. Maybe we'll continue it next week. The BuzzFeed. But
I mean, it's early. We could just kind of.
So there's a lot to discuss this week. Promptly at 8:00 we're going to start. But there's a lot of. I tweeted out a couple of videos today that really went on fire. So I definitely want to do some coverage of videos. Actually, let me test out a video. Let me make sure that you guys can hear it.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, that would be. I'm just gonna play this right. Oh no, I'm about to play us. That's crazy. Let me delete this.
Yo, Alan, those came out already? I
thought it was not released yet.
Son, but I looked them up. I don't like the whole verse on the side, but then from there I didn't know they had the Jesus shoes before them, and those are fire. They put holy water in those.
What constitutes water as being holy? I never understood what makes holy water holy.
Pope.
The Pope.
Is it just water that the Pope kind of like kisses or whatever?
Any priest.
Yeah.
Any priest?
It's leftover water from his bidet.
Wow. Holy now.
Yo, Carlitos. The bidet life is the life to go now.
Oh, listen, bro, I want to make the switch. I want to make the switch.
You're just a savage. You're a savage.
Is it worth it?
Yo,
it's 100% worth
it. I'll order it right now. Hold up.
I'm the official bidet evangelist. No particular company, just in general.
Can you guys hear this video? Can you guys hear it?
Yeah.
That's not
all right. Perfect. Perfect.
Is it worth it to have warm water, or is it just cold water?
If you can afford, if you can get not afford, if you can do the lines for warm water,
yeah, because
do it.
They also have.
You get one that has the heater built in. You don't need.
But those are
really
expensive. Those are like $200. Yeah.
But don't you need the outlet though close by?
You need an electrical
yeah.
See, that's my issue. I don't have an outlet. And I don't have a hot water line in.
It's not.
No, not hot water line. Electrical.
Well, no. I mean, if you want it, you can put the hot water line too. And you don't have electrical. But it makes it nicer, but not necessarily because all just don't stay there spraying too much. Don't enjoy it too much because it's gonna get colder. At first it comes out cool, but then if you stay there too long.
I'm in Florida.
Living in the year 2000, the Europeans got living wage, they got healthcare, and they got bidets.
Bro, the bidets came first too. How is that the last thing that we're adopting?
Yo, anybody who thought that the show started already, they're gonna be like, what are these guys talking about? Yo, we are still in the pregame. So it's 8:00, so let's get started. I'm about to reset.
Our first sponsor is gonna
reset.
We're switching for today?
Look them up first.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is CaseStudyQB, and we are the political junkies. And I know you might have came in on some bidet talk, but it was just all love. That was the pre-show that we're gonna try to start doing that as a habit. Just jump in to let people come in and also have fun with you guys. But now that we got started, we're officially at 8:00. Let's hit the ground running. Say what's up to my peoples. And first of all, gotta say what's up to my man Izzy. We are at full strength. We're not at full strength until Izzy's on board, and we got the whole crew. So it's good to have you back, my man. Say what's up to the people.
Yeah, thank you for having me back. I missed everybody. I'm happy to be back. Ready to do this.
Let's do it, baby. Carlito, how you doing, my man?
Man, I'm alive. I got a job.
Amen.
What can I say?
Preach.
So crappy.
I'm so mad I missed the show last week. It was a good one. I was loving every second of it.
Yeah,
and just to say the Democratic Party cannot be saved. So we should have started 4 years ago, 6 years ago to start the new party. We would have already been 6 years in, a couple seats won. But instead, we're just doing the same old thing, and we're just kicking the can down the road, and it's going to be more of the same. I wish I was on that call last week, man.
Yeah. So just for people who didn't know, we're doing our discussion, the no cancel zone, and that was one of the questions was would you prefer to work outside of the Democratic Party? Would you prefer to take over the Democratic Party or do both? So Gabe just gave his answer. It was basically to cancel the Democratic Party and work on the outside. Am I right, Gabe?
Yep, that's it. And then last two shout outs. I wanted to shout out number one, the new heavyweight champion, Francis Ngannou. If you haven't watched his interview with Joe Rogan, it's a must watch. It's one of the most inspirational stories I've ever heard of somebody who was an exile from Africa. His story of trying to get out, literally on a raft, getting caught, getting sent back, getting dropped off in the desert, and he couldn't do anything, coming back to where he got to a country where he couldn't speak the language, and to now be the heavyweight champion in UFC. It's a banana story. Go check it out. And also
he's taking jobs away from American UFC fighters. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, there you go. And then shout out to the Lakers for getting Andre Drummond off the buyout market.
UConn?
Come on, man.
All right.
The risk.
I may or may not have been at the party with him.
Oh Lord. All right, let's keep it moving. John, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. I'm out here out west, so I'm struggling. I gotta figure out all this change in times. It was like 5 o'clock here, so I'm like sleepy and stuff. But I'm here, so I just don't get fined.
Nice. There you go. All right, we did Izzy. Felipe. Oh, I gotta change your name on your plate. Go ahead, Felipe. Say what's up to the people.
I'm good. What's up, people? Tushy, we'll sponsor you for free. You don't even gotta give us anything. Just tell us that you're our sponsor, just to make other sponsors come to us.
You're a bad bro.
Yeah. Also, if you throw in one Tushy bidet for all of us, I will rep for you for the rest of the
year. I'll say, wait, it's going to be my house though, right?
You already got
for
one.
each of us. No, one for each.
Yeah. Oh, one for each. All right.
This is the start of our selling out. All right. The sponsors that we
corporate junkies.
Last but not least, Bendone, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. Glad to be back. Let's go, UConn. The one we're playing today.
Yeah. All right, so let's get the show going. I'm gonna have to fix the name stuff later, guys. But I want to get this show started. So the first thing I want to show real quick before we even go to the no cancel zone discussions, I want to show this Twitter video that went on fire. Let me see, where is it? Oh man, I'm sorry. Somebody start talking. Let me bring this up.
It's on Twitter. On Twitter, on CaseStudyQB's Twitter.
There it is. Okay. I know it's on. I know. Here we go. Let me turn it up, baby.
I just think that maybe Mr. Bezos should do something about the Washington Post, which he owns, lock, stock, and barrel, which vigorously supports.
However, as you know, that is separate from Amazon. That is a private investment by Jeff Bezos.
But he's got control of the Washington Post. If he doesn't like Bernie and Elizabeth Warren, make a change in your editorial policy at the Washington Post, for heaven's sake.
So you're saying use the Washington Post to go after Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren if you want more pointed.
Why not? Why is the Washington Post the most outrageous leftist organization in America, with a few other exceptions, and it's owned by Bezos, who's with Bernie Sanders having a go at him?
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
Take the gloves
Utilize
off.
all levers.
Get on
your
with
point.
It. Wait a minute. I just think that maybe Mr. Bezos should do something about the Washington Post, which he owns,
that clip?
Lock, stock, and barrel.
This guy is pro-corruption, straight up.
Yeah, literally. Oh.
I can't believe he even admitted that in public. Like, this is something that, years ago, people would just have it in their own circle. They'll talk about it in their, clubs and on the golf course and stuff like that. He's out there on TV saying that, Bezos should just use the Washington Post that he owns to go ahead and just smear Bernie like they haven't been smearing Bernie for the past 4 years already.
That's how you know he doesn't read the Post, because the Washington Post put out like 40 bad Bernie Sanders articles in one day. They've been the biggest attackers on Bernie. So I think that it's clear he's never read the Post at all. They're barely a leftist newspaper, if you could call it that. It's definitely centrist corporate mainstream media.
100%. 100%. All right, so let me go ahead and show everyone. This is going to be the no cancel zone discussions. So should insurrectionists be able to use crowdfunding sites online for their defense cause? This is something that I know Glenn Greenwald was trending for a while when he got some criticism for this. I believe he was on the side of the insurrectionists being able to crowdfund. So we're going to have that discussion. Then the border discussion, we were supposed to have that, I believe, either last week or the week before. So I definitely want to discuss the border this week. And then if we can, because we always only do 2 discussions and we never get to the 3rd and 4th one. But if we can progressives win seats without Republicans? Can progressives win seats where Republicans were and because of Republican infighting? And then the last one is, what is a faux progressive? We're going to talk about that. And then how much should a faux progressive get support from the real progressives? That's a conversation I want to bring up. I think it's going to be interesting, and hopefully we get to it. All right. So the next thing we're going to go into is the first trivia. This is an easy one.
Chuck Schumer, yeah.
Chucky.
It's Felipe.
Let me see if I can take it off.
Damn, I don't look that rough. don't even front.
and the reason why I brought him on, this is only trivia we're going to do today because we got a lot to discuss. I really want to spend time on the discussion stuff. I brought up Senator Chuck Schumer because there was a article in The Intercept, and it talks about how he is going to try to bring back the $15 minimum wage in the next reconciliation bill, right? But my thing is
in the infrastructure bill, actually. But
which is isn't that going to be reconciliation? The infrastructure?
More than likely, but yeah.
Exactly. So that's the next reconciliation bill. Mm-hmm. So I think that why couldn't they have done it in the first reconciliation bill? Like, it doesn't make any sense. If you can't do it in the first one, go ahead, Felipe.
I'm going to stop you there.
Go ahead, buddy.
The first bill had money going into pockets for COVID. This bill is just as important. It's a $4 trillion or a $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill that is just as important to get passed.
Okay.
But it doesn't put money directly in Americans' pockets who need it. It should have been in the first bill.
I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
Pushing back the already late $1,400, which were already short $600, would look even more ineffective than putting minimum wage in the next upcoming bill.
Spoiler, it's not going to pass. Spoiler alert.
Wait, hold on, Gabe. You don't think the infrastructure bill is going to pass?
They're going to pass the infrastructure bill with like $500 billion and corporate subsidies and no $15 minimum wage.
Okay.
Why would it pass?
No way. That's
ridiculous.
There's gonna be no.
How's it going to be $500 billion?
Or if it's going to be a minimum wage, it's going to be like minimum wage to like $8.50 an hour.
So as of right now, I believe it's $2 trillion, right? Or $3 trillion, Felipe, right? Is it $3 trillion that he's going to try to sell?
I think it's more, but
I don't think it's more. I think if it's more, I'll be surprised. But I think it's $3 trillion. I don't even know if they officially proposed it yet, right? But this is what they're floating around.
No, it was officially.
It was
proposed.
okay,
yeah, but $500 billion is way too little. That's not even one tanker.
Yeah, they can't do it. Gabe, so are you saying that Republicans are going to try to counter with the 500?
I'm saying Democrats aren't going to pass their own bill. Democrats are not.
They just passed a bill though with the first bill.
They're not going to include $15 minimum wage. They might.
Okay, there you go.
They'll be lucky.
Gabe missed one show, and now he's just coming back full hater for 2 weeks. His tank was topped up. He was ready to go.
Oh,
Listen. What Gabe is trying to say is they will pass the bill, but without the minimum wage, right?
And it'll only be like 1/6 of the original bill size.
You've been away so long, you can't even get your point across, right?
Yeah, you had me confused, Gabe. I was like, what are you talking about? All right, so let's give the chat some love. I want to shout out some people. Holly Horn, thanks for coming back. Alan Amberster, let me know if you're also neat on Twitter, if that's you. And then Nancy Vancher, I don't know if you're here or not, but thank you for becoming a patron. Definitely want to shout you out for becoming a patron. Thank you so much. And my political junkies, anybody watching the chat, let me know if anybody has any questions or anything that you want to talk about right now. Now is the chat love time. Real quick.
Smash the like button, please. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us get the message.
The Washington Post is a leftist?
listen, to Republicans, everybody's a leftist, okay?
Yeah. Oh my
Alan
God.
said that's him. That's him.
Oh yeah, that's unique. Okay, my man. I saw you tweeted out a cartoon. I'm gonna see if I could bring it up. And I was like thinking, where did Neat get this cartoon from? I'm gonna show the guys real quick. But you guys, let's get started. I guess I still need to prep some stuff on my side. So Carlito, might as well come to my man for the Carlitos rapid fire.
Not so rapid fire. So the first one is gonna be not that rapid. The first one, capitalism without accountability is a root of Suez Canal shipping crisis, says scholar Laleh Khalili. So this is an interview by Amy Goodman at democracynow.org with Laleh Khalili. She's a professor of international politics at the School of Politics and International Relations at Queen Mary University of London. So I wanted to bring this up because this is taking over the news. I mean, it's not since Bodie Mac Boatface how people care so much about a boat. And I learned a few things from this interview. Yeah. So the Suez Canal, it's a great commercial and military importance. It was built, it took 10 years between 1859 and 1869 by French and British in order to consolidate their imperial hold on Asia and Africa. So when drama started, it was nationalized in 1956 because, you know, it was in Egypt. So the president, Gamal Abdel Nasser, nationalized it. So the British, French, and the Israelis attacked the canal, and the canal was shut down for 8 years after that, between 1967 and 1975, during the 6-Day War. So because of that, travel, the big ships, they have to, well, they weren't so big back then. They had to travel all the way down under the South Africa, the tip of South Africa, the Cape of Good Hope. And because of that, they wanted to be more efficient. The boats kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you have this big giant boat that gets stuck in there. It's like it came to in full circle. You block the canal, you make giant boats, and the giant boats block the canal. So that was kind of funny to me.
Wow.
Another interesting thing that I learned was the ship flies the flag of Panama, which is considered to be a flag of convenience or an open registry. So essentially, open ship registries are a kind of subcategory of offshore havens. That means low requirements for labor laws and insurance and taxes. And when this category was first invented, some of the biggest users of the ship registry were the Standard Oil of California and the banana boats of United Fruit. So capitalism at its best, baby.
Of course. Of course. Here it is.
Oh, of course. So story number 2. New York City ends qualified immunity for police officers, becoming first in nation to do so, by CBS Local in New York. It's not 100% elimination of qualified immunity from what I read, but it's great regardless. I would just expect a lot of lawsuits over this going all the way to the Supreme Court. So what you think, Gabe?
It's just a common sense, and it's so great to see New York leading here, and let's hope a lot of other states follow. Qualified immunity is a preposterous policy that allows for police officers effectively to have a get out of jail free card. Anything that happens while they're on duty, if there isn't a prior case law set that said that somebody could be sued for that, then you can't go back. So you end up getting situations where, you know, somebody shot a dog on a Tuesday, but the previous case was they shot a dog on a Thursday. So now because of qualified immunity, they can't bring that case to court because no prior case law has it on the day that it happened. It's just a terrible, terrible rule that has been in place in law. And it's good to see New York City starting that. And let's see other major progressive cities and hopefully even California follow that and until it's gone everywhere, because it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, no, like you said, it's common sense. If an engineer builds a bridge that collapses and kills 100 people, that engineer is not immune to his neglect. You know, it's common sense.
Yeah,
100%. Felipe, you're frozen. I don't know what happened, but
I don't know. I mean, I see myself moving on my camera, but I do not see why on that. I'm just frozen. So maybe he's just smiling happily at.
Oh, there he is.
There we go. He's back, baby. All right, let's go on to the next article, Carlito. If everybody's done, yeah.
Washington State okays bill to give voting rights to parolees, by Gene Johnson, Associated Press, at the Spokane Review. So Washington State lawmakers have voted to automatically restore voting rights to people who have been released from prison after committing felonies, even if they're still on parole. It passed the Washington House and then the Senate 27-22, thanks to a Democratic majority. And the Democratic governor, Jay Inslee, is expected to sign it. And the main sponsor of this bill was Democratic Representative Tara Simmons of Bremerton, who was incarcerated before herself becoming a lawyer. So that's inspiring.
Oh, wow. That is inspiring.
Yeah.
That's another one that's common sense. It's one of those things that if you're an American, you should be allowed to vote. And as soon as the most progressive position is even while you're in jail, be able to vote. But the compromise is as soon as you're out, then you should be able to vote with no having to pay back taxes and no having to do poll taxes or anything like that. You should just have you serve your sentence, be allowed to vote. And this is a great step in that direction. And hopefully, again, other states follow.
100%.
So Alan Emerson was asking on Twitter whether it's not 100% mean regarding the immunity. I think it's not a blanket elimination of it. There's still some kind of protection still around. So next story. Virginia abolishes the death penalty, becoming first Southern state to end capital punishment, by Cassidy McDonald, Paulina Smolinski at CBSNews.com. So more Virginia love for my man John. So thanks to Democratic majorities, again, the Democratic Governor Ralph Northam signed legislation making Virginia the 23rd state to abolish the death penalty, thus ending the use of capital punishment in the Commonwealth. So in modern times, Texas is the #1 death penalty in death penalties. But what I didn't know is that over Virginia's 400-year history, the Commonwealth has executed more than 1,300 people, more than any other state, Northam said. Virginia will become the first state of the former Confederacy to abolish the death penalty, according to the Death Penalty Information Center. Now, that is something that I had no idea, but good on Virginia.
If you're a progressive or if you're just a person of goodwill, you have to be against the death penalty. Because as we know through the statistics, 1 in 20 people that are executed are innocent or found innocent later on. So when you have anything like that, whether you believe that people need to be punished in that sense, you can't have a policy that executes innocent people 1/20th of the time, 5% of the time. It can't happen. So we have to eliminate this everywhere. I understand some people believe eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, whatever you believe, but it's better for some guilty people to get away than for even just one person who's innocent to be murdered by the state.
100%.
They're not even getting away; they're just not getting murdered.
Right, right. So they could be,
especially when it's cheaper. Like it's been proven to be cheaper to house someone in prison for the rest of their life than it is to have them on death row.
Yeah, but you know what I heard about that though? The counter to that is like just kill them sooner. So let's not give him any ideas. But I just happened to be talking to somebody at lunch today at work. With he happens to be Catholic, and we were talking about this. It's just like common sense. How could you be like an evangelical religious person that's
pro-life?
You're supposed to be pro-life, but not when it comes to death penalty. You got to be more consistent than that.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. As a Christian, I 100%.
Jesus says, "Turn the other cheek, accept death penalty."
Yep, it's sad. Very sad.
All right, number 5. MLBPA open to discuss pulling All-Star game out of Georgia after voting restrictions pass, Chief says, by Cassandra Negley at Yahoo Sports. So as we know, the NBA took the All-Star game out of North Carolina in 2017 over anti-LGBTQ laws. So there's some precedent there. Now, the Major League Baseball Players Association is considering doing the same. So it's not, they haven't decided to do it yet. But even if it doesn't, there are players that are saying that they will skip the All-Star game themselves. And this is big because after the NBA pulled out, other companies started pulling their business out of North Carolina, forcing a change in the law. So the same could happen in Georgia if enough money is lost.
I love how all these articles are like, this said we have a precedent because the NBA did it. Well, what does the NBA have anything to do with the MLB, first of all? And second of all they're really talking about here is the MLB Players Association being open to the idea of discussing not being in Atlanta. Like, it's just so vague. It's like, I want to give them credit. I really hope they do pull out. But let's hold our breath for now, until we actually get like real news on what's gonna happen.
Well, the NBA actually did pull the All-Star game out, so that's
I know that's what I'm saying. But the MLB never did that. Like they're not even close to doing that yet. So I give the NBA full credit. MLB needs to step up here.
Right. So at least I'm glad that there are players that are saying like, yeah, I'm out. Like if it happens there, I'm not going to be there. So at least there's some pressure now. The MLB themselves is like, but this is the player association. So I would like to, like, from the top down, from the commissioner to be talking about this to get more credit, like you said, Izzy.
Agreed.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go on. Thank you so much, Carlito, for the Carlitos rapid fire. I'm gonna show another video. I'm gonna show another video that really caught on fire that I really would be interested in see who is on which side from the political junkies. I think I know what side Neat is on. This is our guy, Alan Amberster's Super Psychic Neat. And I'm gonna show you the cartoon that he posted, but let's show the video first.
Just to shift to the big picture, it was reported by Politico that you were part of a Congressional Progressive Caucus delegation that recently met with White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain. What asks did you make, and what do you say to your critics on the left who say progressives in Congress like yourself, the Squad, the CPC, haven't pushed Biden hard enough on issues like the $15 minimum wage, universal health care, the filibuster?
I mean, it is because that we have been pushing really that the American Rescue Plan is deemed to be the most progressive policy in decades. We certainly understand that there was a failed strategy, not by the progressives in Congress, because we put $15 in the package, by the administration. I think their early signaling that could be negotiated out, and it might not stick as part of the final package, really, I think, endangered the ability for us to pass $15. And so when we were in that meeting, we pushed for a strategy to get $15 minimum wage. We pushed for a strategy to pass the agenda that the administration ran on, that the Democrats agree on, whether it is passing sensible gun laws, dealing with our immigration crisis, and all of the things that we all care about. What we walked away from that conversation with is an understanding that there is a limited window of opportunity for us to push these pieces of legislation. There are members in the Senate within the Democratic Party that are certainly not there yet on the priority pieces of legislation that we have. And it's going to be up to the administration to come up with a strategy to push them, because progressives in the House are constantly told to get in line and to push policies that are going to have an impact on people's lives. That's what those Democrats in the Senate need to be told, and that's what's going to take.
Woo!
That was to the big picture.
Put on fire. That clip set this internet on fire. Had about 40,000 views, and I see Gabe, you had some hand gesturing. I want you to jump in first.
A lot of nothing. Talk about we had the potential to bring it up, and the maybe, and then we got to do this, but some people aren't there yet. Us as progressives, if we want to ever get power, have to use the power that they should have said no COVID relief bill without a $2,000 check, not a $1,400, and they should have said no without having a $15 minimum wage in it, and they should have said no. And when they go, why are we not passing it? We're not passing it. They're not passing it until then. And I bet the people, even the ones I know, Felipe, but what about the suffering people? What about the suffering people?
Yeah.
You want to give them more. We're months delayed on this $1,400 check that is just
okay, great. Now. If you don't have money for food this week,
last year it should have been $1,400. Last year,
if you don't have money to feed your kids this week, and I tell you, all right, kid, I can give you $500 today or $2,000 in a month from now. What are you gonna take?
And it may not even be a month from now. It could be 6 months from now. Like, come on.
And it may never happen.
Yeah, no, I think
the administration to make it happen, because
their House representatives, they put it in their bill.
It is a must-pass bill, so you put it in and you vote against it until it's in there, and they're gonna have to pass it. You're not gonna.
No, they're not.
Joe Biden is gonna have to push back. So it's okay to just not have these things passed, and we're just gonna go 20 years with people living in poverty, working terrible jobs, working multiple jobs just to live, just because we don't use the leverage we have at the time we have it. We could even hold off in Medicare for all. We could put anything because it's a must-pass bill. The reason it's called a must-pass bill is because you must pass it. So you have to use the power you have. You have Ilhan Omar, you have the squad doing nothing. They're doing nothing. They're
not doing nothing.
You got to use the power that you have.
Gabe, I miss you.
Go ahead, John. John, jump in. I know you want to say the same thing.
I just want to say I miss my man Gabe, but he couldn't have said any better. It's true. Like, I feel like we have heard, they always go on TV and talk about the exact same song over and over and over. Oh, we done this, we done that, but nothing ever gets done.
Wait, hold on. No, now we need to, Case, you need to hit the rewind button and go back to previous videos where John was the biggest advocate saying, why is this taking so long? Why hasn't it passed yet? Why is this and that? And you were the biggest one. You were the big, and now all of a sudden, but they should have been pushing for 2,000 and minimum wage.
No, they should have just they should have put everything on hold.
Rewind the videos because I told you that they should have held the vote, and Alan even responded on the chat. He says they should not held the vote. They should give people their 1,400.
Have your own opinions. You don't need to back your opinions off of
look it up.
People agreeing with you.
It's a video.
I think the chat is backing up what we're saying. We got E. Heller. Manchin could do whatever he wants. He could hold up the bill. He could do whatever. He could be the most powerful person, more powerful than our president, because he could just hold up any bill he wants. And the progressive caucus could do jack. That's crap. She said, he or she or they. Bull sizzle, and I agree with that. And then Nancy Vancher, the strategy is to wait until people are desperate. That's what they always do. They're gonna make you wait until you're desperate.
Yeah, that's what they always do. But let me tell you what happens, Gabe. First of all, I agree with you. They should have done it. But let me tell you what happens, man. It's always the case, whether it's the conservative Democrats, the corporate Democrats, or the Republicans. They're very fine with letting people just suffer and die. But the progressive ones, they just can't allow that to happen. So they're using our humanity against us. This is what's happening. So I agree with you, but there's not going to way they're going to fight this way every single time, because if it gets desperate enough, like Nancy said, they're going to do it just because they don't want people to suffer. Now, what needs to happen is don't wait until it's so desperate. Make it loud. Go on all your social media places and just be out there that you're not going to let this pass without whatever it is you're asking for from the beginning. Don't wait until it's too late and we're desperate and we want to just give the people something. You got to come out early.
I just think that they know that the squad are always going to give in. So they let Joe Manchin have more power than they do.
People voted for the squad to be the ones that fight against the establishment, and they're not doing it when it comes to Pelosi.
Yes, they are. They're
not.
All right. See. Let's not go. Let's not get into this because they're just not.
That's ridiculous.
It's like that last time. It's not that they're not doing anything. It's just they're not doing enough or as much as we want. So let's not go out and just throw them all out saying they suck, they whack. And remember what this is, man. Look, remember this is no calzone. All right.
No. We're not saying they suck. We're saying is that they have yet to sit there. They have yet to sit there and say, we're not voting for this as a vote. We're not voting for this. And they always come back and say, oh, we fought for this. Oh, we fought for this. Oh, yeah, and we got this. And yeah, we're still fighting and we need to go back to the Senate. Whereas you got Joe Manchin, it's like, nope, I'm not voting for that until you tell me what I agree with. And then he's holding up everything and they go in and they just give up whatever they want. And then they come back and tell us, yeah, we fought for
100%. 100%. They got to use the Manchin strategy.
All comes back.
Yo, real quick. E. Heller, volcano party, $15 with the floor, and the floor is lava.
All right, so just to let you guys know, I want to give Felipe. So Felipe, you're pretty much the only one here supporting Ilhan Omar, right? I just want to make sure it's clear.
The only wrong one.
No, okay.
And I want to give you more time. That's why, Felipe, because everybody else is, we're kind of ganging up on you, but I want you to have enough time to articulate your thought.
I'll take my back is strong. Okay.
And then we're going to move on to the first. We're going to move to the first discussion in the no cow zone.
E. Heller, that was E. Heller, Alan. That wasn't me. I'm not a joke stealer.
So, and just to let Carlito, just to let the people, our regulars know what no cow zone mean, but just for everybody else who might be watching for the first time, we are in the no cancel zone, which means we are going to have hard conversations, but at the end of the day, we're going to love each other, we're going to support each other, and we're not going to cancel each other on top of all that. We're all brothers, we're all political junkies, we're on the same team. Go ahead, Felipe.
Okay, so we're all in a privileged enough position that $1,400 isn't going to put food on our table. $1,400 isn't going to keep us from dying or begging or being on the streets. We cannot argue that people should have just waited and hoped for better when better was never a guarantee. Better was never, ever a guarantee. The fact that they got anything at all, the fact that they got something with a $1.9 billion or trillion dollar price tag is crazy. Do you think the people, what is it, $300 a week per child in paid upfront tax credits, money that is going into their bank accounts, do you think they're unhappy because their stimulus check was cut short? No, they're happy because now they have guaranteed government money to feed their kids. Ooh, scary socialism. Whatever.
All right, Felipe, I'm gonna jump in real quick. So, and then we're gonna move on. But so it sounds like you're saying it's either or though. That's my only problem, and I need to bring up my memes too because I had a down thumbs meme for you when you said privilege, because I've heard a lot of people keep bringing that up as an argument, and it wasn't either or. You know, we just want them to fight for it. That's all we wanted them to do, and we could have got everything that we got and more. Go ahead, Felipe.
But at what cost? But at what cost? For how long? How long should they fight? How much longer should they fight? We say this now because it's after the fact. But when this was all going on, we're all sitting here wondering how much longer is this going to take? Why haven't they passed this yet? We're like yelling about it. Well, and now after the fact, we're all like, oh, well, they should have fought harder. I mean, come on, we can't have it both ways.
Listen, you just say that progressives aren't fighting, but there's a reason that a fourth stimulus is on the table.
No,
like a fourth stimulus has been talked about and may be passed.
When you look at it, we were talking about like, yes, January 21st, January 20th, and January. In March, we were talking about, well, right now, well, if people already waited this long, you might as well hold on and get something out of it. And they did
That's not what you were saying, bro.
Look at this clip. I'm willing to bet you $1,000.
So
Privileged.
Izzy, at the point, hold on, let me address Izzy real quick. So at the point where we're in March now. You know, when they were back campaigning, they said as soon as we get elected, next day we're gonna have $2,000 checks, and then they went to 14. But anyway, at that point, you don't think we could have spent at least another 2 weeks to say, okay, the Senate passed a bill without the $15 minimum wage. It went back to the House. Now you have 6 of the squad members saying, no, we are not voting for a bill. Matter of fact, more people outside of the squad. There was a guy outside the squad said he didn't vote for the bill because $15 wasn't in there. You don't think we had another week or two to try to negotiate to at least get, at the very least, and this is not what I want, but at the very least get $12 an hour, for example?
But then we would have been complaining that it was only $12 an hour. Like, come on, guy. Like, I mean,
there's literally no winning here.
We can't have it all. Like, we would have wanted this on January 20th, $2,000, $15 an hour. Of course, we all want that. But at the end of the day, this is Congress. This is just not how it works. You have to negotiate. Sometimes you do have to just take what you can get. I'm not saying bend over and just take it. But I mean, and the reality is, like, you can't just force someone's hand because you feel like it. If Joe Manchin's not going to vote for this. Now you almost got me
So when are we going to get it, Izzy?
What's the problem?
Izzy, when are we going to get it?
Take the court of public opinion.
Well, that's the thing.
Try them in the court of public opinion. You go. This
but
guy
the people who vote for him stand with him. That's what he's not trying to win our votes. He's trying to win West Virginia's votes. Do you know how hard that is for him to do if he's going to start acting all voting with progressives?
But I mean, the governor of West Virginia was with him. The governor of West Virginia
I guarantee you West Virginia is in favor of minimum wage, $15 plus. I guarantee it.
Listen, the problem is not that the squad did, because they could have been fighting all along, and we know that they're not going to just let people suffer, and that's what Felipe and Izzy's point is. But the problem that they didn't come in early enough and loud enough, because every time I turn on the news, they're talking about Joe Manchin. They weren't talking about the squad. So they could have been fighting all along, but the problem is they weren't out there. They weren't using their social media presence because they weren't going to get on corporate media. You know, they didn't use their presence. You know, go on, play Among Us on Twitch or whatever, but talk about it and make it known. Because then if you come in early and you're loud and you're forcing the people to talk about it, then we can make progress early. But, you know, once it comes down to the deadline, then I'm kind of with Felipe and Izzy, because then it's like, let's say it has to go right now. We've been dragging it for so long.
I get it. But
Gabe,
look.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gabe got his hand up real quick.
A new poll out of February 2021 claims that 63% of West Virginia support raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2025. When you run on progressive policies that are popular amongst Republicans and Democrats and independents, you're gonna win. Manchin is there because he's just freaking the cancer that doesn't go away. But you can get him out with a strong candidate that is gonna fight him.
John, I'm gonna go to you. John,
now he's stuck in there.
John,
he's not going on minimum wage. He's not going on minimum wage because he's not up for election for 4 more years. That's why he's not moving on it.
So how you gonna win his vote then? How you gonna win his vote on $15 then? If he's not going for 4 more years, how you gonna win
public opinion? You destroy him in the public.
Opinion. If his election was 2 months away and passed $50 minimum wage, people would forget.
7 progressives are holding out versus Joe Manchin on his side and a couple of people. They're gonna go, wait. If most Americans are in favor of $15 minimum wage and these people are against it, why don't they support it?
I think you don't realize how popular Joe Manchin is.
Let me go to John. Let me go to John.
$15.
Gabe, let me go to John.
And get it passed.
John, go ahead. Go ahead, John.
Okay, so look, so we got the 1,400. Well, some people still waiting for it. They haven't gotten it. What I always say is, like, at what point the squad said enough is enough and we fight for this, right? So it's like every single time, they always say, well, we are the one that care for the people. We are the one that going to do this. But at what point did they just stop like giving in and say, you know what, screw it, right? Because like Izzy just said, right, there's no winning, right? We're never going to be happy, or there's not going to be like, some people may be like completely canceling them. Like I don't cancel them. I think, I give them like a B-, B+, a B in their report card, but they have to do something to just say what is enough, and it is what it is. If they
can absolutely do that.
I guarantee that they're gonna win.
They can absolutely do that when stopping everything doesn't take food and money out of Americans' pockets.
All right,
that's why that moment in time wasn't good for it.
Gotcha. So infrastructure bill now it's a good time. The infrastructure bill now is a good time to do it, but they got to start now. They can't just wait until the last minute.
Okay, real quick, and then we're gonna move on. So I like Gabe's point where he talked about public opinion, because we just found out recently that Kirsten Sinema, who was the lady from Arizona who put the thumbs down, they polled between her and the other senator. I can't think of his name right now. The other Arizona senator, he has a lot more popularity because he supported $15 an hour, while Kirsten Sinema's popularity has gone down and is at a -11, I believe, from what I remember. And Jim Justice, who's the governor of West Virginia, he was more, and he's a billionaire, right? He was more progressive, and he's a conservative. Like he does not have a track record of being a progressive at all. He was out there
for the
pushing
stimulus, not for the
$15 an hour. You're right. But okay, so let me move on to the next. Oh, I wanted to show the cartoon that Neat put up. Let me switch over here. And I was like, Neat, where did you get this from, Neat? Look at
what?
It was in response to that video, and it had a thread. And he said, "He's everyone's president, not an idol." And I'm like, Neat, where did you get that from, Neat? Anyway,
I think that was his character he made in Cyberpunk 2077.
All right, let's go to the No Cancel Zone show. Should insurrectionists be able to use crowdfunding sites online for their defense costs? And this was a video. Do I need to play the video, or can we? Let's just talk, because we don't have that much time. So I'm just gonna bring up the topic. And so this is an interesting conversation. I don't want to lead the witness or lead the panel. So anybody has any strong feelings that want to jump in right now on this?
Yeah, I mean, yes, they should legally, but every tech company who runs one of these sites should not be allowing it. They should just be banning that type of activity. They should say, we do not support terrorism. We will not allow you to fundraise for terrorism. Therefore, you're not welcome on this site. But legally, I mean, obviously, we can't tell them no. I mean, they're free to do whatever they want. They want to start up their own little site where they do their little fundraising and raise their $15. Okay, fine. But I think these tech companies should be coming out way harder and saying, in our policy, we cannot allow you to fund for terrorism, period. And you're off.
Yeah, Izzy, you mentioned their own site, and that is something that they do have. I could look it up, but I don't want to give them any credit anyway. But they had a site that it was for allegedly for like conservative causes, and I think it was started by some kind of religious person, and it was for protection of people, you know, fighting for their rights or whatever. But yet they were still doing it for this kind of people that are basically terrorists. So when they did an interview, they were trying to rationalize it and blah blah blah, but really just a right wing GoFundMe wannabe.
Honestly, like part of me wants to say, let them throw away their money into a lost cause. Like these people are on video breaking into the Capitol. No one's fighting for them like they did. Like, yes, police get away with it every day, but these people storming the Capitol, they don't have qualified immunity. They don't. In the court of public opinion, as Gabe likes to keep saying, no one supports these people. Everyone thinks they're the worst of the worst scum.
I wouldn't say no one.
Even Fox News turned their nose up at it. They were like,
after their ratings started going down somehow and stuff. But
even then, these people, they're throwing their money away. Like, however much money they dump into these cases, no one's walking out of this scot-free. Like, these people threw away parts of their lives just to be cool and say they stormed the Capitol. I don't care who throws their money into that fight.
There's going to be some people that are going to get prosecuted, like those Proud Boys and 3%ers, but there's going to be plenty of people that's nothing going to happen to them. They're not just from the beginning. When it was Black Lives Matter, they were doing hundreds and hundreds of arrests on site. Over here, now they're trying to go through videos and find one person here, one person there. Already, a lot of people got away with it right now.
Yeah. Matter of fact, Carlito, let me piggyback off of what you're saying. On Rachel Maddow, she did a segment where they had like citizen journalists were out there finding these people faster than the FBI. They would literally go to the FBI and say, here's the address, here's the person. And the FBI would be like, oh, we're still looking for this person. And like put out in public that they're still looking for that person, that the citizen journalists and people have crowdsourced looking for these people and found them and give it to the FBI, and they still say they can't find them. It's crazy.
Listen, it's
they escort them to their police car with a jacket around them, and they laugh and they joke, and you know, I mean, it's the reason why Sean King is as big as he is, right? Because how many people has he found that the police couldn't even find? You know, doing all these racist what do you call it, like just these illegal things, you know. I mean, that's exactly why. So
it's you know, lately because of Trump, the FBI has had some kind of you know, whitewashing or whatever. They're not, people don't see them as bad as they are because, you know, Trump was just so horrible. But for, you know, well, recently, let's just remember what happened with the Kavanaugh case. They didn't even investigate him. But if you need to know who the FBI was, just go back everybody talk about rewind the tape. Go back to, you know, our episodes when we talk about how the FBI and the CIA are behind all the assassinations of Black leaders.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So let's not forget who the FBI is, COINTELPRO and all that. So
100%.
You know, they're not gonna do, you know, they're gonna do what they're gonna do.
Don't get me started on that. 100%, Carlito. All right, before we wrap this up, anybody have any last words before we go to the chat? All right.
Let's go to FBI.
So for Felipe, white immunity is almost as powerful as qualified immunity. So remember that when you talk about the court of public opinion and how these people are definitely going to be thrown in jail. You never know with that.
Yeah. 100%. Let me correct myself with Alan Amberster, aka Neat. So my bad. I showed the picture out of context. He was like in the chat. He was like, tell the context. So he was going back and forth with a Jimmy Dore supporter, and that was his funny response to that. So just to throw that out there. Much love. He was
going back and forth with Gabe.
So much love. Nancy, thank you for becoming a Patreon. I don't know if you heard me from the beginning of the show. And Nancy said, this is a way to criminalize dissent. When is it okay to protest? Only certain things allowed. That's what Nancy said.
Certain things are allowed. Look what happened to the rep in Georgia, right? She got arrested on spot for just knocking on the door, and then you have the video and the images of the guys screaming at the police officers, breaking in the glass, and guess what they did? They walked away.
Here in Florida, they passed a law that says cops can just arrest people whenever they decide a protest becomes violent. They have full choice, full like decision in the matter of when it becomes violent.
So that every time,
and as soon as it does,
Wow.
It always becomes violent when the cops start, knocking people over the head.
Yeah.
They're always starting.
Yep. All right, so let's move on to the next topic, and we're going to talk about the border. Boom. So this is topic number 2, no cancel zone. We're going to talk about the border, and I'm going to bring in this to start us off with the border talk, border discussion.
Republicans and Democrats made dueling visits to the southern border, and their takeaways couldn't be more different. House Democrats toured a facility for unaccompanied migrant children, while Republicans headed to the border along the Rio Grande.
The Biden administration is taking people who are testing positive for COVID-19 and locking them in cages side by side. This is inhumane, it is wrong, and it is the direct consequence of policy decisions by the Biden administration to stop building the wall, to return to catch and release, and to end the stay in Mexico policy.
God.
We're glad to see
as no one next to him have masks
building up the capacity to handle the kids who have presented themselves for asylum. The right destination for these kids is with their family or relative sponsors. It does take some time to process them, and they're much better off here than they are in the CBP processing centers, where we have seen, not just in the last week or so, but even before, in years past, the conditions at the CBP processing centers, where you have people sleeping with what it looks like aluminum blankets and so forth. So this is a much better situation for them, but it's not the right situation for them.
All right. So just to play devil's advocate, or I want to put the full context, the Biden administration, they put out their own video of what's going on, but they're not allowing journalists to come into the facilities for them to take their own footage. But I'm going to play footage in a second, but I want to get this discussion started. I know, Carlito, you had your meme. I was dying laughing at that one. Go ahead, Carlito. Start this off.
Listen. First, it was Ted Cruz. I would never respect him, but I will kind of sort of have more respect for him if he would have been talking about the crisis as a negative thing with, they coming over and taking our job, whatever the hell they always say. But saying that it's inhumane is ridiculous when inhumanity is what the Republicans do all the time. And they were proud of it and they wanted more of it. So it's ridiculous for him to be been saying that. Now, if you wanted to come by Biden, you could talk about the Haitians that are getting deported at greater numbers than Trump. But no, they like that kind of stuff. So this is just political theater. So, forget Ted Cruz and all these.
No, I have a comment on that.
Yeah,
I have so much respect for Ted Cruz. You know how hard it is to wake up every morning and put on that full face of clown makeup and then go out in public and just have to be a clown your entire life. Ted Cruz has to live his life knowing nobody respects him to his face. Lindsey Graham, one of his colleagues, said if you shot and killed him in front of Senate and the Senate was the jury, they wouldn't convict the killer.
Yeah,
that's how big of a clown.
I want to ask E. Heller to put some jokes for Felipe because he's bombing over here.
I'm happy with that. I think
Ted Cruz talk about how Ted Cruz looked like a low budget redneck Fidel Castro with his green jumpsuit hat and his baby beard.
Ted Cruz is he's cosplaying as like full MAGA. Like he saw on the forums that the beard is in and everything, and he's like, okay, I gotta look like that. Gotta make sure they know.
The funny thing about what Ted Cruz said was everything that he said could have been applied to when Trump was president. Like everything was exactly the same. Mm-hmm. That's what made me see him as such a clown. Like now you are so angry about it. Like now that Biden is in there, like
and what does he care about people with COVID-19 when Texas is letting everybody just walk around with no mask everywhere? So why does he care?
No, and he doesn't. Obviously, the facts don't agree with him, but just to bring them up because they matter a little bit. The undocumented migrants that are coming in from Mexico have tested the lowest in coronavirus, I think, out of any demographic in Texas. Something below 6% of them have tested positive. So to even bring up that they're just gathering COVID positive people and just dragging them into the country is absurd.
Listen, Alan Ambassador said in the chat, I've met Ted Cruz. Police love that guy. So that should tell you everything you need to know about police.
So this is another video that I think, I'm not exactly sure, but this is from Brooke Hines, who I've interviewed her before on Progressive War Room. And she says here, AOC and DSA profile, when you say nothing has changed, you are calling the people who are now protected from deportation no one. And we cannot allow for that in our movement. Then she puts, what about the movement that refuses to see this? So my question is this a current video? You know, and I think it is. I think that's why she's bringing this up, because I believe Ted Cruz was in there doing this, taking a video. Am I right, Felipe? Was it Ted Cruz that came in there and took a video?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
From what, and I remember there was somebody there that kept telling Ted Cruz to leave because they didn't want people, like I said before, Biden's not allowing people to film on their own. So I think this might be his, but I'm not sure.
I want to highlight some of the difficulty there, because the thing that's gathering a lot of the buzz and the negative comments is the fact that there are so many migrant children being detained at the border. But when you think about the logistics of it, first of all, these people traveled either tens of miles in the desert without any water or hundreds of miles from whatever countries they originated from. Beyond all that, people don't leave their country underaged without absolutely needing to. So the fact that they've come to America is one just unbelievable feat on its own. But in no way is it correct to let these minors just loose in the country. That's not how it should go. So the logistic, no. They're minors. They can't just walk around and be minors in the country. The logistics of it, they have to find a home that will be willing to take them. They will have to find a distant family member, someone. They can't just open the door and be like, all right, scram, go find your lunch somewhere. They need to find places for these kids to go where they're going to be accounted for and taken care of.
Leadership at DHS does not want the American people to know it.
Please respect the...
I'm sorry about that. I'm about to play video. Felipe, you want to finish your point?
Yeah, I just want to say, like, there's no world where you inherit such a difficult border crisis and are able to clean it up in 3 months. You couldn't find a home for every single one of those kids in 3 months, let alone all the new incoming people.
Yeah, I would admit it's a tough situation. And what I would like to see happen is, and I think Jamal Bowman brought this up this past Sunday, that America is responsible for a lot of these coups d'etats that's happening in South America and disrupting a lot of these countries. That's causing them to have a failed state, and that's when they have to leave the state to come up to America, and we're causing that. So we need to be able to have some kind of new Monroe Doctrine where we're helping these failed states lift up their governments again, put back good governance in their countries, and then hopefully we can slowly migrate them or let them decide what they want to do. Do they want to stay or do they want to go back to their own country? But I'm definitely not for turning away women and children and people who are coming here trying to save their own lives. So let me show this video that I cut Felipe off by accident. And I think this is the one that has, I think Ted Cruz is talking about. I could be wrong. Let me play.
Please respect. Please give dignity to the people. Please give dignity to the people.
So you work for the commissioner, your senior advisor. You were hired 2 weeks ago, and you're instructed to ask us to not have any pictures taken here.
Please respect the people.
Because the political leadership at DHS does not want the American people to know it.
Please respect the rules,
You keep standing in front of the pictures, so you don't want the pictures taken. The rules are arbitrary, and they're designed to keep the American people in the dark.
Dignity and respect. That's all we ask.
Well,
dignity
no, it's
and
not.
respect.
You're asking, is this dignity and respect? Look at these people. There's a
dignity and
pandemic.
respect to the people.
Let me ask you.
All right. So you guys get the point. He's just basically like really being annoying. But the thing is, where were you 4 years ago for the last 4 years, man? Come on.
Exactly. Supporting it, like laughing at him.
Don't get
Cancun. He might have been in Cancun.
Is he? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I can't believe more politicians don't become actors and actresses and win Grammys and not Grammys. What's the other one? Oscars. Yeah. Because it's all theatrics. This is all just a game to them. They're all just playing and he's a pretty decent actor, because people actually believe him for some reason. But it's all just theatrics. Like asking the question is almost silly and like a waste of our time because we all know exactly why this is happening and why it was different 4 years ago.
Alan took the point right out of my mouth. He goes, nobody wants to talk real options like legalizing weed and cocaine, legalizing all drugs, end the drug war, and that would solve a lot of the problems.
100%.
Legalize all recreational use of all substances, and you create centers for safe distribution and safe injection and safe everything, and you solve half of that problem. There's no more cartels to freaking have war over. It's like another common sense policy.
100%.
So I don't know, man. I don't think you should sell heroin over the counter. I don't think there should be,
because it's not going to be cut with anything. You do a safe injection site where they inject you with safe doses, and they also at the same time offer you treatment where if you want to kick it and if you can kick it, they'll offer you the support and treat it like a health issue that it is, of getting people off of these drugs the proper way with a proper support system. So if you want to if you want to go drink a gallon of bleach right now, is your American right to go drink a gallon of bleach, and I should not be able to stop you as long as you're not making someone else drink a gallon of bleach. So whatever you do for yourself is your American right, and by trying to stop you from drinking a gallon of bleach, I'm now causing a war and cartels and other things in other countries by people that are trying to bring bleach here. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I believe it was Portugal that just basically decriminalized everything, and the use went down too. It wasn't just like the crime went down, but the use went down because some of the people that were using it, they wanted to kick it and they got help because the authorities, they saw them, they know where they were able to reach them and give them some help, medical help, counseling, whatever. Meanwhile, if everything is criminalized, you're never going to see, everything is always going to be underground.
100%.
Now we had our first pilot in America, in Oregon. They've decriminalized basically everything. So we're going to see how that works out, and we could start having a real example in America.
Yeah, where you stay? I want to hear your rebuttal to what Gabe said.
To what Gabe said? I don't know. I mean, it does sound great having the availability for having the safety of availability and just regulation. I get that, but increased availability also leads to increased new users.
That's not going to increase availability. It's the people that want it are going to get it. So that's not going to increase anything.
But Gabe at one point said that he wouldn't be against it being sold over the counter or at specific distribution places with no regulation. Yeah. If you don't have to buy heroin from the creepy guy under the bridge who is scary and a big deterrent, I don't think having it in a store easily available will.
Well, that's the difference between legalizing and decriminalizing it.
He said legalizing, if I'm not mistaken.
Legalized. Do the Portugal model. It's not a matter of your opinion. It's a matter of the fact of what happened in Portugal.
You said all drugs legal, word for word.
Everything legal. Everything legal. Because then you have, again, it's regulated. It has the correct. You're making sure that your cocaine is not cut with something that's going to kill you and things like that. And now from there, there's already an example of a country that has done it for years, who had severe drug epidemic, just like how we had in the inner cities, and they solved it. Now use has gone down. So
I don't know if
I'm convinced.
Legalized. I think
they legalized all drugs.
Decriminalization. I'm super in support of nationwide all drugs. No one should be arrested for owning a drug. That's ridiculous. But full legalization, I think, is a step too far for me. You are doing a really good job convincing me, but I think we can move on because I'm open to moving in that direction.
Okay. All right. Cool. I like that. We didn't have a meme, so I just came across this. And I want to show this. I don't know if I can make it bigger, but basically it says Democrats be like, and it says vote blue no matter who. So you see this on the left is Mountain Dew, and on the right is a Windex, and they're both blue.
No way,
drinks.
it's backwards because the one on the right has bubbles. The one on the left is clear.
Yeah, so you guys get the point with that. So let's show the chat room some love. And as we close out, because it's 9 o'clock, I'm going to show one more video on our way out, but let's show the chat room some love. Nancy Venture says, it's a health issue, not a legal issue. And Alan said, this is what Latin American countries need to do. Americans can always make more. People need to be happy with just the fun stuff.
Yeah, that was funny because Alan was talking when Gabe was talking about the extra drugs. Okay. Alan was like, people need to be happy with the fun stuff. America's always wanting more.
But here's the thing is that once you decriminalize one thing, let's say you make weed legal, but cocaine is still illegal. That doesn't solve the problem in the other countries. You start once you have to make everything legal to end the drug war, because if not, whatever the illegal stuff is going to be what the cartels move towards. So you have to end everything. And as people now, again, like Felipe said, you don't have to get it from the shady guy under the bridge. Then in that case, now you've made everything legal, and now you are leading then to drug use going down. And
I think there's a ton of nuance in it, but I kind of see where you're coming from.
All right. So as we end the show, this last segment is dedicated to my man Izzy, and a big welcome back to Izzy, because this is going to be some Amazon hate.
A ballot drop box at its facility, even after.
Let me start it over.
How did Amazon become a corporate giant? The truth is, through handouts and special favors from government. Amazon wields tremendous influence over federal, state, and local governments. In fact, Amazon is often regulating government, and not the other way around. We've seen this play out in Alabama, where Amazon workers have been trying to organize a union. Amazon has tried to defeat them by co-opting government powers. More Perfect Union reported 3 specific examples. Amazon compelled Jefferson County to change traffic light signals in order to disrupt union organizing. Amazon worked with the Postal Service to install a ballot drop box at its facility, even after the government ruled that it couldn't do that. And Amazon uses Bessemer City Police, not private security, to patrol outside its warehouse at all hours. This is part of a long pattern of behavior.
He calls his company Amazon.com, Earth's biggest bookstore.
From the very beginning, Jeff Bezos used public money and government favors in the form of legal loopholes that let him unfairly crush competitors and abuse workers. When he started Amazon, Bezos based his business strategy not on technology, but on a tax loophole. The Supreme Court had just ruled that catalog retailers didn't have to pay sales taxes except in the state their headquarters were located. Bezos realized that an online retailer that sold nationwide could take advantage of this ruling, giving him a government-funded advantage over brick-and-mortar rivals. And it worked. Many of Amazon's original customers in 1995 chose to buy from Amazon precisely because it let them avoid sales tax. Over the years, Amazon continued this strategy of using public benefits, your tax money, to boost its bottom line. Amazon gets local tax breaks in return for placing warehouses and data centers, so much so that it has an entire internal team to negotiate these concessions out of local officials. But that's just the tip of the iceberg of Amazon's special privileges. Amazon gets special prices on shipping parcels through the United States Post Office, which includes shipping on Sundays when standard mail is not delivered. The details of the contract between Amazon and the United States Postal Service are not public, so we don't know just how much our government caters to Amazon's business. Then there's the failure of...
All right, I didn't want to play the whole thing, but that's a very good video from that guy. Matt Stoller is an excellent guy to learn about.
Keep it going over time.
You want to keep going? Everybody want to keep
going?
Play it
on.
All right, let's keep going, baby.
I mean, are we just gonna
watch party? Watch party.
Of federal antitrust enforcement. Amazon has bought over 100 companies. The government, despite laws against illegal mergers, hasn't challenged a single acquisition. For example, in 2012, Amazon bought Kiva Systems, a company that made robots to help with warehousing. At the time of the acquisition, Kiva was serving Office Depot, Staples, Gap, Crate & Barrel, and other prominent retailers. Amazon soon stopped letting these rivals use its robotics technology, which they needed to compete with Amazon. This should have been illegal, but Amazon just pushed the law for as much as they could to destroy their competition. For decades, Amazon, financed by Wall Street and venture capitalists, sold its products at a loss, so it could destroy its competition and then raise prices later when it became a monopoly. This is called predatory pricing, and technically, it is illegal, but the government didn't enforce the law. Even worse, predatory pricing, or losing money now to get monopoly power later, is subsidized by the tax code. If you don't make a profit, even if you are building a monopoly so you can make really, really high profits later on, you don't have to pay taxes. But your competitors, who do have to make a profit to stay in business, do have to pay taxes. So now we have an absurd reality in which Amazon, one of the most profitable companies in America, in 2018 didn't pay a nickel in federal income taxes. And of course, there's the abuse of workers. The injury rate of Amazon workers is nearly double the warehouse industry average. If Amazon hurts a customer or damages a supplier or worker, it's almost impossible to sue. This is because of a legal loophole that big business pushed since the 1980s. a loophole that lets companies write contracts that force you to give up your legal right to take them to court. And because Amazon is so big, Amazon forces everyone with whom it does business to sign these contracts. It also has a huge lobby with over 100 federal lobbyists, some of whom are former members of Congress or senior former White House officials. Through government assistance, Jeff Bezos has become the richest man in the world with a $200 billion fortune. Now, the good news is that because government has had such a critical role in building up Amazon, it also has the power to rein in this corporate behemoth.
But will they do it?
Can break up Amazon using existing antitrust authorities. The government can compel Amazon to pay its fair share of taxes. The government can sanction Amazon for violating workplace safety standards. The government can punish Amazon for trying to.
All right.
How did Amazon become?
So that it gets cut off at a certain point, but man, that was a lot of great information in like 4 minutes. And yeah, what you guys think?
Gabe, Alan said this guy really hates job creators.
Republican Party. Yeah, Izzy, go ahead. I want to get your last word on this, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much every single thing that we know about Amazon, that we hate about Amazon, all thrown into one. I mean, he didn't also really touch on the fact that the way Amazon crushes the people who sell on their own platform, just to make sure that they can, you know, basically crush small business and make sure that they, you know, have a monopoly on that as well. But everything else he talks about is pretty much verified, 100% true. You know, they basically use the government as their little piggy bank, and we just kind of go along with it as consumers and as, you know, the government employee. Like, it's just, man, yeah, it's got me riled up. Share the link to the video either in one of our chats so we can put it in the main chat for everyone to view later.
Oh yeah, 100%. And just to let people know, the website that did that was More Perfect Union. Or at least the Twitter account is at More Perfect. Let me show it here real quick if I can. More Perfect Union. And I think the website, it's not here. Okay, but I think it's moreperfectunion.us instead of like .com is .us. But yeah, piggybacking off of what Izzy said, there's a famous incident with Amazon and diapers.com. And diapers.com, basically Amazon started selling diapers cheaper than diapers.com long enough to put them out of business. And I think Amazon might have even bought them and just totally took them out of business and took over that company. So that's like a very or a very monopolistic thing to do. And it just shows you how much that we need to have antitrust laws. And do you guys think that, let me pose this question to the panel. Do you think the government will do anything to
our Lord and Savior Joe Biden will not let us down? He will be sure to solve this issue within the next 100 days.
I can't stand you.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes Gabe talks and I'm like, oh, please.
Take it to the bank.
If there's any topic that you should not speak on, Gabe,
that's true.
Every time we do something Amazon related, you should put yourself on mute and then let everybody else speak.
It's up to government to regulate.
Oh, now it's up to government.
Yeah, it's up to government. Climate change. As much as I try to be green, it doesn't matter how green I am until government regulates. Climate change will not be solved. Amazon, my individual action of buying from Amazon will not end the Amazon monopoly. We need the government to break up the monopoly, and that's it.
Hey, Gabe, I went to Amazon Fresh the other day since I'm in California. I went to check it out.
So can you give me muting ability so I can mute both of them?
Listen. Hey, I do this for you, Izzy. This for you, man.
So guys, I won't confirm or deny that I have packages arriving this week.
I want to throw this out real quick, and then I'm going to go to you, Carlito. I thought it was interesting. So basically the way Amazon, their business model was using that tax loophole, and like all government had to do, if I was Jeff Bezos at that time, I would have been scared. If that's my model, that I have to rely on the sales tax never coming into play, like I would be so scared that any moment the government can just pass a law, pass that tax, and there goes my whole business. But it never happened. Nah. Carlito, go ahead.
No, there's no way you're gonna be scared because you bought the government. You
but
have
he bought it back then.
All the Republicans. You have at least half of the Democrats. What's there to be afraid of.
But all the way back then, he didn't have that much power that he has now.
But his investors did, because all the time, remember, the company wasn't making money. Mm-hmm. It was all through investors, private equity and things like that. So all those other companies that were funding him, they had the power, they had the people, but it's all Wall Street. And plus, you have all the companies, even their own competitors, they were okay with some of the things that Amazon was using, because when Barnes & Noble was getting big, they were doing some of the same things. I'm not gonna say it's 100% verified, but I was reading something that basically the only way that you could become a billionaire, not a millionaire, but a billionaire, is by some sort of loophole and some sort of exploitation.
Of course,
there is no way you're gonna become a billionaire with a B through regular legal means.
Dodge.
It's how all these politicians become millionaires, being public servants.
Exactly. All right, so that's the show for this week. And man, I've had a lot of fun with you guys. I was so looking forward to this show. So much in the news, so much going down. Please like and subscribe to this if you're watching this. And I want to give a shout out to Last Love to the chat room, Alan Amberster. We have, I know Nancy Ventures in there. Guys, help me out. I got to get the names up there. Let's see, who else is in the chat?
Everybody.
I share on Twitter. Was on
E. Heller was throwing some heat
live
today.
on Periscope.
E. Heller. And then we have Actions Speak Louder Than Words is on Periscope. Yep.
Holly Horn's always in there.
Holly Horn. Yes, much love.
Robert Wilson,
our boy, he was not happy today, but it's always good. We're no cancel. So
he was here.
We agree, we disagree, no cancel.
Nice.
He was here.
All right, so that's the show. We had a lot of fun. And we got two more topics coming up for next week. And hopefully we'll get to it. And that's the show. So much love to you. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. And we appreciate that. And you guys are political junkies right along with us. Junkie gang. We got to get them t-shirts. All right. Much love. Izzy's back, baby. And we're going to have some fun next week. Looking forward to seeing you all again.
Volcano party.
Adios.